He had spent years making promises. Promises to love her, promises to be faithful, promises to build a life with her. But promises are easy to make and easy to break when you don't care about the person you're breaking them to. This is a story about a woman who was betrayed, a woman who was cheated on, a woman who was told she wasn't enough. This is a story about what happens when that woman finds someone who knows her worth. Her name was Isabella. She was 31 years old, beautiful in the way that made people stop and stare, intelligent in the way that made people want to listen, kind in the way that made people want to be near her. She had everything, except she didn't have love, not real love. She had a boyfriend. His name was Marcus. They had been together for 7 years, 7 years of promises, 7 years of plans, 7 years of building a life together. Or so she thought. Marcus was handsome, charming, successful. He was a lawyer, a good lawyer. A successful lawyer. He made good money. He had a good life, and he had Isabella. Or so she thought. The truth was, Marcus had been cheating on her for years. Not just once, not just twice, but consistently, repeatedly, systematically. He had other women, multiple women. Women he saw when Isabella was at work. Women he saw when Isabella was with her family. Women he saw when Isabella was sleeping. And Isabella had no idea. She trusted him. She believed in him. She believed in their relationship. She believed in their future. She was planning their wedding. She was picking out dresses. She was imagining their life together, while he was with other women. Then one day, she found out. She was at his office. She had surprised him with lunch. She wanted to do something nice for him. She wanted to show him that she cared. She walked into his office, and she found him with another woman, not just talking, but kissing, touching, intimate. And Isabella froze. She couldn't move. She couldn't speak. She couldn't breathe. She just stood there, watching the man she loved betray her. Marcus saw her, and his face went pale. "Isabella," he said, "this isn't what it looks like." But it was exactly what it looked like. It was betrayal. It was infidelity. It was a lie. Isabella didn't say anything. She just turned around, and she walked out. She walked out of his office. She walked out of his life. She walked out of the life she thought they were building together. And she didn't look back. Marcus tried to follow her. He tried to explain. He tried to apologize. But Isabella was done. She was done with his lies. She was done with his betrayal. She was done with him. She went home. She packed her things. She left, and she started over. The first few months were hard. She was heartbroken. She was angry. She was confused. She had spent 7 years with Marcus, 7 years of her life, and he had thrown it away. For what? For other women? For temporary pleasure? For his own selfishness? She didn't understand, but slowly, she started to heal. She started to focus on herself. She started to remember who she was, before Marcus, before the betrayal, before the heartbreak. She was intelligent, she was beautiful, she was kind, she was worthy, and she deserved better. She started going out, she started meeting new people, she started living her life. She took up hobbies she had abandoned. She reconnected with friends she had lost touch with. She traveled to places she had always dreamed of visiting. She discovered parts of herself she thought were gone forever. She laughed again. She danced again. She felt alive again. And then, she met someone. His name was Alexander. He was at a charity gala. She was there with friends. He was there with business associates. They locked eyes across the room, and something shifted. He approached her. He was confident, but not arrogant. He was charming, but not manipulative. He was successful, but not selfish. He was everything Marcus wasn't. They talked for hours about life, about dreams, about the future, about what they wanted. And Isabella felt something she hadn't felt in years. She felt seen. She felt valued. She felt loved. Not because he told her, but because he showed her. Through his actions, through his words, through the way he looked at her, through the way he listened to her, through the way he made her feel like she mattered. They started dating, and it was different. It was real. It was honest. It was everything a relationship should be. Alexander was a billionaire, a self-made billionaire. He had built his empire from nothing. He was powerful. He was respected. He was successful. But he was also humble. He was also kind. He was also real. He treated Isabella like she was the most important person in the world. Because to him, she was. He didn't just tell her he loved her. He showed her. He was faithful. He was honest. He was present. He was everything she had always wanted. He remembered the small things she mentioned in passing. He surprised her with thoughtful gifts. He made time for her despite his busy schedule. He introduced her to his family and friends with pride. He made her feel like a partner, not an accessory. After 6 months of dating, he asked her to marry him. He got down on one knee. He had a ring. A beautiful ring. A ring that cost more than Isabella's entire house. But it wasn't about the ring. It was about the promise. It was about the commitment. It was about the love. Isabella said yes. She said yes without hesitation. She said yes because she knew. She knew that Alexander was different. She knew that he would never betray her. She knew that he would love her for the rest of their lives. They planned the wedding. It was going to be big. It was going to be beautiful. It was going to be the wedding of the year. Celebrities were invited. Billionaires were invited. Politicians were invited. It was the event of the season. The guest list was exclusive. The venue was breathtaking. The details were impeccable. Every moment was planned to perfection. And Marcus heard about it. He heard that Isabella was getting married. He heard that she was marrying a billionaire. He heard that she was happy. And something inside him broke. He had taken her for granted. He had cheated on her. He had betrayed her. And now, she was marrying someone better, someone richer, someone more successful, someone who actually loved her. Marcus tried to contact her. He called her. She didn't answer. He texted her. She didn't respond. He showed up at her apartment. She wouldn't see him. He tried everything. But Isabella was done. She had moved on. She had found real love, and she wasn't going back. The day of the wedding, Marcus decided to attend. He wasn't invited, but he came anyway. He wanted to see her. He wanted to see if she was really happy. He wanted to see if she had really moved on. He stood in the back of the church, uninvited, unwanted, unwelcome. And then, Isabella walked down the aisle. She was radiant. She was glowing. She was beautiful. She was everything he had ever wanted, but she wasn't his. She was Alexander's. And as she walked past him, she didn't even look at him. She didn't acknowledge him. She didn't see him. Because he was invisible to her now. He was part of her past, a past she had left behind. Isabella reached the altar. Alexander was waiting for her. He looked at her like she was the most beautiful thing he had ever seen. He looked at her like she was his entire world. He looked at her like he would do anything for her. And Isabella looked at him the same way. They exchanged vows. They exchanged rings. They kissed. And the crowd erupted. Cheers. Applause. Celebration. And in the back of the church, Marcus stood frozen. His face went pale. His mouth opened, but no words came out, because he was seeing something he had never expected to see. He was seeing the woman he had cheated on, and she was marrying a billionaire. She was happy. She was loved. She was cherished. She was everything he had thrown away, and she had found someone who appreciated her, someone who valued her, someone who would never betray her. Marcus tried to approach her after the ceremony, but security stopped him. Isabella saw him, and she smiled, a real smile, a smile that said, "I'm happy," a smile that said, "I'm loved," a smile that said, "You were wrong about me." Then she turned away, and she walked out of that church, with Alexander by her side, and she didn't look back. Marcus stood there, frozen, because he had just realized something. The woman he had cheated on, the woman he had betrayed, the woman he had taken for granted, had become something he could never be. She had become happy. She had become loved. She had become cherished. And she had done it without him. In fact, she had done it in spite of him. Years later, Isabella and Alexander were still together, still in love, still building their life together. They had children. They had a beautiful home. They had everything. But most importantly, they had each other. And they had trust. And they had honesty. And they had real love. Marcus never found that. He spent years trying to find someone like Isabella, someone who would love him, someone who would forgive him, someone who would give him another chance. But no one did, because he had shown his true colors, and no one wanted to be with someone like that. If you're listening right now, and you've been cheated on, know this: you deserve better. You deserve someone who will love you, someone who will be faithful to you, someone who will never betray you. And the moment you believe that is the moment you find that person. If you believe justice always unfolds, you already know what to comment.